More changes to how much time federal public servants will be required to spend in the office. The federal government is expanding its return to office mandate starting this spring. We do begin with breaking news this hour. There are new details tonight regarding how many days core federal public servants will be required to work in the office. The government notifying employees today executives will be mandated to work 5 days a week on site, up from the current 4 days a week. That is as of May 4th. And as of July 6th, all other federal employees will be required to spend 4 days a week in the office, up from the current 3 days. Letters that went out today said the Treasury Board Secretariat would be meeting with unions to seek their input. We'll have more on this breaking story at 6 o'clock. Well, Canadian cities are competing to be part of a federal government bid to host a proposed international defense bank, a headquarters tied to billions in future investment and potential jobs. Ottawa, Montreal, and Toronto are all making their case. CTV's Caitlin Wilson joins us live now with more on this battle. Caitlin.
Yeah, Patricia, this would be a new international defense bank meant to help finance security projects among allied countries. Canada wants to host it, and now cities are competing to become the official bid the federal government puts forward. Those pushing for it here say this city's growing defense and technology sector make it a natural fit, while Montreal points to its aerospace and innovation ecosystem. Ontario's Premier Doug Ford is backing Toronto's bid as the country's financial centre. The federal government will ultimately choose which city represents Canada, a decision tied to long-term investment and jobs.
You know, the position of Ontario saying we want to build the future of defense, we have the defense industry right now. We don't need to build it.
We have a very strong defense sector here. We're connected to all of the embassies from around the world. This is going to be an international institution. All of the foreign missions are here in Ottawa.
At the same time, momentum is building in Ottawa to position itself as the country's defense innovation hub. A decision is expected to be made at some point this year. Patricia?
No firm date as of yet. All right, CTV's Caitlin Wilson live for us tonight. Thank you. Well, we're seeing for the first time tonight video taken inside the police cell block of Ottawa Councillor Matthew Luloff providing breath samples after being arrested in July 2024. It comes weeks after the exhibit was shown at the councillor's impaired driving trial. CTV's Katie Griffin is here, and I guess the question some might ask is, why did it take so long?
Well, Patricia, the video is being made public now because CTV News and other media outlets argued for its release after an initial ruling that banned publication. Now, in the video, Luloff is seen for about 37 minutes, and here are some of the exchanges with a breath technician.
Some of it starts with, have you been drinking, yes or no?
I'm not answering that question. No. I have been eating Wendy's and trying to go to bed is what I've been doing. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to take my kids to daycare in the morning. So
Luloff has pleaded not guilty to all charges. He's not wearing any shoes and has on shorts and a t-shirt. He's shown giving 2 breath samples and at one point says, "This is not going to be good for me." The breath technician tells Luloff he's twice blown double the legal limit. Luloff's lawyer wants the results and what his client said in the video to be thrown out, alleging several breaches of Luloff's charter rights even before he got to the police station.
I think the most important thing is even the breathalyzer technician confirmed in her evidence that but for the test results, she noted no effects of alcohol on Mr. Luloff.
Audio played in court from a 911 caller reporting a suspected drunk driver was also released. In it, you hear the witness say a Jeep almost smashed into her and was swerving everywhere. Now, the judge will issue a ruling on those alleged charter breaches along with a verdict later this month. Patricia?
CTV's Katie Griffin live for us tonight. Thank you. Well, an Ottawa councillor is calling out the provincial government to help stop more planned program cuts at Algonquin College. This month, Algonquin's board of directors will vote on cutting another 30 programs, meaning no more new entries. Ottawa councillor Lane Johnson writing an open letter to the province saying cuts will, quote, leave a marked vulnerability in our local economy, and says to be competitive, Ottawa needs to have a trained workforce.
And it just got my wheels turning as to how absolutely this is a citywide issue, what's happening right now. And so I felt it was imperative for the city to have a plan and to have a response. We see a lot of students that come in through many of our programs, so it's going to be felt in a few different places. And I think the city has a role for advocacy here.
The long list of proposed programs to cut include hospitality, tourism, journalism, paralegal, and culinary arts. In a statement to CTV News, the ministry that represents colleges and universities says that because of the federal government's repeated changes to the international students permit, the post-secondary education, including Algonquin College, is being forced to make difficult decisions. Well, sections of Quebec's Pontiac region say they are experiencing ongoing blackouts this winter. CTV's Dylan Dyson joins us with more on what the rural residents are dealing with right now.
Yeah, that's right, Patricia. In areas like Alumet Island in the Pontiac, residents say the power has gone out 15 to 20 times in the last month. At times, they say the power could be out for as short as a minute or as long as a couple days. The region's warden says the Pontiac experiences more power outages than any of Quebec's other 88 counties. She says that's due to the freezing cold, intense wind, and heavy snow that this winter has brought, impacting the Pontiac's outdated power grid. And in a brutal winter, these outages are starting to have a serious impact on everyday life.
It's incredibly frustrating. Like, I lose hours because the power is out. He can't employ me if he has to close for the day. That means he loses his income, I lose my income. We can lose product because of it.
Hydro-Quebec says it has started calling residents, asking them to reduce their energy usage during peak hours, and in some cases has started implementing controlled rolling blackouts to prevent the grid from exceeding capacity. Hydro-Quebec says there is a plan to expand and modernize the Pontiac's power grid, but that isn't slated to begin until 2028. Patricia.
All right, CTV's Dylan Dyson live for us tonight. Thank you. Well, calling this a pivotal moment in the auto industry, Prime Minister Mark Carney has announced a national automotive strategy. It includes scrapping the EV sales mandate and a major investment in the electric vehicle infrastructure fund.
The future of the auto industry is increasingly electric and connected. And so to remain competitive and to realize our potential, we must develop the entire value chain for next generation vehicles, harnessing Canada's exceptional capabilities in auto production.
And if you're looking to buy an EV, you'll be able to access federal rebates again starting February 16th. Carney announcing that the federal government will offer $5,000 toward the cost of a new EV and $2,500 toward plug-in hybrids. The new EV strategy also includes replacing the EV sales mandate with new emission standards. Well, thousands of people in Castleman are on a waiting list for a family doctor, a growing problem as the community struggles to recruit talent. Staff at the Castleman Medical Centre say the primary issue is a lack of grants for the rural community office. Administrator Jennifer Arenas says other communities can offer between $84,000 to $120,000 in multi-year grants, but Castleman does not meet the threshold.
Because of the RIO score, the Rurality Index of Ontario, it is compromising our recruitment a bit because we are at a score of 39. All the grants start at 40 and above. It is getting to a dire situation. We have a huge waiting list of patients who do not have access to primary care.
The grants help doctors offset the costs of education, setting up a family practice, and the cost to relocate. It's offered as an incentive for doctors to go to rural locations, but Arenas says due to Castleman's proximity to Ottawa, the municipality doesn't qualify. Well, transit users trying to get to Lincoln Field Station from Carling Avenue are running into huge snowbanks and an unplowed footpath.
It gets plowed by people's feet by walking, but not by the city.
The north sidewalk is closed for Stage 2 LRT construction, leaving some pedestrians to navigate a narrow, snowy trail alongside the Kitchie-Zibi-Mishkan Parkway. The buried path is raising safety concerns and questions as to why it's not plowed. Ottawa Councillor Teresa Kavanagh says the problem comes down to responsibility. The NCC owns the trail, but the city wants the rail developer to remove the snow.
It would be nice if it was plowed. It's definitely, like, a lot of people walk the trails every day.
When you see a well-treaded path, you know that it is being used by people. So have a plow it.
I heard that they're poking around. Good, but let's get it done. This is going to be huge because they've left it so late.
Now, by late this afternoon, crews had finally begun clearing a path. Well, coming up on CTV News at 5, we're talking vacant unit tax with 580 CFRA's Christy Cameron and how homeowners feel about the mandatory occupancy declaration. And our Jackie Perez is here with a weather forecast. More snow on the way to add to those trails and snowbanks, Jackie?
More snow in the way, but not quite as much as we think. But it was a fair weather day today here in the capital, about -9 degrees. Lots of sunshine, even along the Seaway. Kingston sitting around -11. Pembroke as well as Petawawa staying around -8, -9 degrees. You could already start to see light flurries moving in towards eastern Ontario. Now tonight, we are seeing that there is a chance of flurries at -17, the overnight low. It won't be until tomorrow evening, though, that we will see more periods of snow on the way, and we are anticipating between 3 to 5 centimeters. We'll have a full look at your forecast in just a bit. Patricia.
All right. Thank you, Jackie. Taking a live look at the roads out there right now. Pretty slow going in parts of the Queensway tonight on this Thursday drive home. But for the most part, fairly clear on the surfaces of those roads, so that's a good thing.
Far side pass, and it's an early shot. He scores!
Ottawa property owners have until March 19th to declare the occupancy status of their properties under the vacant unit tax rules. Every residential property owner has to complete the declaration. If you do so after the deadline, the charge is $250. Today's radio question of the day is asking, how do you feel about Ottawa's vacant unit tax?
I'll be completely honest. I'd like to see it completely eliminated. This is my approach. I had actually brought a motion previously to remove the implementation of this tax. That failed.
Christy Cameron is here. That's Ottawa Councillor Laura Dudas addressing that. I've heard Bill talk about this a lot in the mornings. Not a fan. What were Ottawa residents saying generally? Do they like it or do they find it a big pain?
Listeners of our show are very much against the vacant unit tax, which, by the way, I've been calling the VUT. No one else is calling it that. It doesn't seem to be catching it on.
The VUT?
The VUT. But here's the thing, Patricia, the actual paperwork of doing it is not that cumbersome. I'm a property owner. I do it every year. We're now 2 cycles in. It doesn't take that long. But it's what it represents. You know what I mean? If you're a homeowner, and a lot of people who listen to my show are, they feel that this is government overreach, that if they bought a house, whether they're renting it or they're living in it, that they ought to be able to do whatever the heck they want with the property, and that the municipality should not be threatening to tax them on top of property taxes. So that is the one side of this debate. And people are kind of, dubious that it's actually returning affordable housing units or homes to the market.
Okay, so, and I know older homeowners, a lot of them don't like it. For a couple of years, I was doing it for my parents because it was a new thing. What do we have to do? They weren't jumping on the computers easily anymore. What's the other side of it? What's the positive side?
Well, the other side of it is that we've only gone 2 cycles, that we ought to give it a little bit more time, and that any step in the direction of freeing up housing units or homes is a good thing, because we're in an affordability crisis right now, and we do have a lack of housing in Ottawa. But it appears like this is still kind of raging on at Ottawa City Council, because now you've got Laura Dudas and David Hill, just some city councillors that are speaking out about it, and they're trying to revisit the tax. So, I mean, maybe it won't be around too much longer. I guess we'll wait and see.
The VUT. We can't lose the VUT.
The VUT.
Yeah.
The VUT. The VUT.
Thank you, Christy. You can join the conversation. Leave a comment through the Talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. You can listen live to Christy Cameron on News Talk 580 CFRA weekdays from 2 until 6. And now watch Christy's segments anytime on YouTube. Subscribe to the News Talk 580 CFRA channel.
It's really a great news. It's great news for doctors, for nurses, for patients.
Well, coming up on CTV News at 5, why the federal government is reviving a bill that would change how health records are accessed across the country. And here's what you need to know. The Elmdale Book Fest is happening this weekend at Elmdale Public School. Check out a large selection of secondhand books, puzzles, games, and DVDs. There will also be a bake sale. The annual event raises money for the school. Well, here's what's on CTV tonight. E-Talk, Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, Next Level Chef, Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, and back-to-back episodes of The Big Bang Theory. Another look at the full forecast as we inch closer to another winterlude weekend. Jackie?
Yes, and if you enjoy the mild temperatures, I'm sorry, winterlude coming up, and the temperatures are going to be about 10 degrees cooler than what we have seen these last couple of days. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. The good news is that the days are getting longer. The sun just starting to set. Downtown Ottawa with Parliament Hill in view. Current temperature about -9 degrees. It's going to go down to about -16 degrees for our overnight lows. Partly cloudy skies, but tomorrow morning was starting off at around -11 degrees. A chance of flurries will be in the forecast. It's not until the afternoon, though, that we are likely going to be getting snow. Daytime high will be -5, so we will have one more day of pretty mild weather considering what we've had the last couple of weeks. So again, snow moving through parts of Ontario tomorrow evening. We'll start just after the noon hour, especially around Pembroke. Light flurries moving through. We might see thicker snow moving in as well Friday evening, and then early hours of Saturday morning, we could see heavier snow along Kingston and Brockville as well. So the anticipated forecast is between 3 to 5 centimeters. But again, we are keeping a very close eye on this. Across the Seaway now, we have temperatures sitting around -12 for the overnight lows, -5 for the daytime high. And in the valley, temperatures will be going to a daytime high of -4. So again, the snow will be affecting pretty much all of Eastern Ontario for our Friday, but this won't be until the evening. So it could be a messy commute. So daytime high for Friday, -6. Saturday, it's going to be about a 10-degree difference, much colder. -15 is going to be our daytime high. The chance of flurries will linger. Sunday, we will enjoy the sunshine, and it won't be until Tuesday, Patricia, that we will start to see the weather or the temperatures warm up to about -7.
It's working out well for Winterlude, keeping everything pristine and crisp, no melting. Thanks, Jackie.
You're welcome.
We want to take a look now at what you are checking out on our website as we walk over to our big screen here. And of course, this is the big story that broke just before we went to air at 5 o'clock. This new mandate from the federal government, public servants back to the office 4 days a week. That will take effect in July. In May, even earlier for the managers, the executives, they will have to return to office. In most cases, 5 days a week, as well as some other things that we have chatted about. That video from the Matthew Luloff trial is there. The latest on Algonquin. And if you need your Olympic update, Olympic news as things started to get underway today ahead of the opening ceremony, you can find that online as well. Well, coming up for us here on CTV News at 5, the rising cost of groceries, taking a look at where Canada stands when compared to food inflation among G7 countries. And here's what you need to know. Enjoy all things winter this week at the Greeley Winter Carnival. There's a lineup of events on now through Sunday, including sleigh rides, skating, kids, crafts, and lots more. Events are centered in and around the Greeley Community Centre. You can check out greeleycommunity.ca for all of those details. And if you do need gas on your way home tonight, one of today's cheapest gas prices can be found at the Shell station on Beechwood Avenue. Regular gas there today listed for $1.20.9 a litre. And one more look at the roads tonight out of Ottawa. Fairly clear in terms of conditions. We are seeing some congestion in the usual spots on the Queensway on your drive home. There you go, right now.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Taking a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. Looks beautiful out there right now. A little cooler, -9, and a bit of a breeze out there. But the sun setting nicely at this time of day. Well, here's what we're working on for 6 o'clock. Federal public servants will have to spend more time in the office this year. Changes outlined today include requiring executives in the office 5 days a week starting in May and 4 days for all other core employees as of this summer.
This investigation also has uncovered serious allegations of criminal corruption among police officers.
York Regional Police have charged 7 current and 1 retired Toronto police officer in connection with a months-long investigation into organized crime.
Let's get it done. This is going to be huge because they've left it so late.
Getting to the Lincoln Fields Transit Station has been quite the mission for commuters due to a snow pile left unplowed for weeks. We'll have the story on the snowy snafu coming up. Well, now the final 5 other local stories we are following. An elderly man was treated for non-life-threatening injuries after his vehicle crashed into a retaining wall this morning outside of the Ottawa Hospital Riverside campus. It happened around 7:35 this morning. The Ottawa Hospital says a vehicle struck a retaining wall in the parking lot. Paramedics say they treated a man at the scene. He was taken to hospital in stable condition. The proposed expansion of the Andaz Hotel in the Byward Market area is now expected to be 17 stories rather than 16. A new report for a city committee outlines the proposed addition, which would go up on York Street next to the current hotel at Dalhousie Street and York. It would involve removing a vacant lot there. The city's Build Heritage Committee is expected to vote on the new plan next week. Well, if you noticed groceries are more expensive lately, you're not wrong. Canada recorded the highest food inflation of all G7 countries in December. Food prices were up 6.2%, double that of the U.S., and more than 3 times the rates we see in France and Germany. A statement from the Bank of Canada this week noted that grocery prices jumped by 22% in the last 3 years, compared to 13% for other consumer items.
It's really a great news. It's great news for doctors, for nurses, for patients.
Well, the federal government is reviving a bill that would allow health records to be shared across Canada. On Wednesday, the Liberals reintroduced the Connected Care for Canadians Act. Originally proposed in June of 2024, the legislation is aimed at addressing the lack of common standards and incompatibility of various systems used by doctors, hospitals, and clinics across the country. If passed, the new law would allow digital health information to be shared safely across systems.
Sliding play, takes it away from Chatfield for a quick second, comes back over to Batherson. Sanderson, a drive, scores! Big power play goal!
It has been a busy week for the Ottawa Senators, and they are hoping for a win on the road tonight in what is their final game before the break for the Winter Olympics. The Sens take on the Flyers in Philadelphia. It comes after losing 4-3 to Carolina on Tuesday, but winning 4 games prior to that. Puck drop tonight is at 7 p.m. And that is CTV News at 5. I'm Patricia Boll. Be sure to join me for CTV News at 6 o'clock. The early edition of CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo starts right now.